All right, guys, it is time for match lessons from Rocky Mountain 3 Gun. First one here is going to be on switching to a survival stage plan when things go catastrophically wrong. Pretty much just trying to get through it. So on the all shotgun stage here, there was a bunch of birdshot, then some slugs, some flying things, and then you moved into the rest of your stage. And I ran a pretty aggressive stage plan. As you can see, I'm shooting the big stick here, and I had 8 birdshot over a whole bunch of slugs. And the reason I did that is coming up this path, there are 6 birdshot targets before you get to the slug. So I ran it a little bit conservative. I'm going to give myself 2 makeups. The problem is I started having malfunctions like right away. So right about here, second round out of the gun, have a malfunction, fix it, shoot that one, another malfunction. Now this one was quite a bit worse. I'm starting to rack a whole bunch. And I'm getting a combination of spent shell and some live shells coming out of the gun. And I couldn't tell how many there were and if they were all live or if some of them were spent. So my now 2-round buffer has pretty much gone away mentally because I really don't want to shoot a steel plate with a slug from 7 yards away. That would be extremely bad. So what I ended up doing is you come to the top of the hill here, there is a falling steel plate to the left of me, straight behind me right now, which was part of my original stage plan, was to shoot that on the way in, then shoot this falling plate on the right, then shoot this slug target, which I'm shooting right now. So I knew I didn't rack out 3 rounds, so I just skipped that plate on the left because that would get me through, shot this small plate, and then squared up on the slug. So I took 2 shots at it here to start that were both birdshot, and then took a 3rd shot that was the slug. So now in hindsight, I know that I racked 1 live round and 1 spent round out of the gun. So by skipping that 1 target, I still had my 2-round buffer. But a couple things happened as a result of this. So now I'm going to shoot my other slug target. And this is my plan right here. Do a reload. You had to engage this clay target after you shot the slug target. And you can see I just racked a slug out of the gun because I don't want to shoot that with a slug. So I had to shoot that. And then I was going to go to the poppers on the right that had the throwers behind them. But I want to get back on my stage plan as soon as I possibly can. And my stage plan says shoot those 2 poppers, shoot the flyers, and then run down and shoot the rest of the stuff. But I still have this plate on the left side left over from the pre-slug part of my stage plan. So I'm immediately going to shoot that, even though it doesn't really flow together the best the way that it is right now, because I want to be back on my plan as soon as possible. So then I shot these 2 poppers with the flyers. I ran down here, I shot a bunch of other stuff. And then I changed up my plan towards the end where I was going to shoot this popper. I was going to shoot the plate on the left, and then I was going to shoot the flyer and then turn to the right and then shoot another static falling clay there. Now, I didn't do that for 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is my shotgun is malfunctioning. I'm not really sure why, but I don't want it to go click with a clay in the air while I'm trying to shoot another piece of steel. If I get a malfunction with that clay in the air, I can clear that malfunction usually fast enough to still shoot the clay if I'm not trying to engage other stuff at the same time. So I'm trying to be a little bit conservative from that standpoint, because if you don't shoot at the clay before it hits the ground, it's a 15-second penalty, and I really don't want to eat that. And then the other reason is I had added some extra stuff to my stage plan that wasn't originally in there, right? I turned to the left and I shot that falling steel. And then I had a couple makeup shots on the flyers earlier in the stage, all the way back here. I think I had 1 makeup shot on each one of them. So when I got down to here, I'm not actually sure how many rounds are left in my gun. So I want to shoot a more conservative plan. So if I miss this clay on the first shot, I might have additional shots to shoot it before it hits the ground, where the stuff on the left here, you can shoot that, after a reload, and that's just fine. And as it turns out, I shot this, I shot the flyer, I shot that plate, and I did go to slide lock 1 plate earlier than I had originally intended to, which meant that had I missed that clay shooting it in the normal order, I would not have had another round in the gun to make it up with. So that is what happened to me on the all shotgun stage. Turned what, potentially could have been a decent time into like a 86% or something, which was a bummer because I really needed a pretty high score on this. This was actually my very last stage in the match. But it was a lot better than staying with the original plan, maybe eating a lot more penalties, maybe slugging a piece of steel and getting DQ'd. I was pretty much on survival mode. So, you know, happens to the best of us, and it's nice to be able to know how to do that mid-stage. So that is the first of our match lessons for Rocky Mountain 3 gun, and there will be a whole lot more to come.